Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Paxton Boyd. In our top story tonight at 6, legendary ABC 36 weather anchor Frank Falconer has died at the age of 100. ABC 36's Sydney St. Clair spoke with his former colleagues of Falconer and has more on his life and legacy. Sydney?
Thanks, Paxton. Yeah, Falconer was a longtime weather anchor here at WTVQ until he pursued radio in the 1980s. He worked here for close to 20 years. Now here's what former colleagues Brian Wright and Dennis Dillon had to say about Falconer.
Frank was one of the kindest, one of the most sincere and consummate professional. He was the weatherman in Kentucky. He was the TV weatherman in Central Kentucky. Everybody loved Frank.
Dennis Dillon, or Dead Air Dennis, spoke about Falconer's show Fearless Frank's 5-day forecast, where Falconer would give the forecast for the week, which used to air on Dillon's radio show. And one would never guess how Falconer determined the weather for TV before the use of radar.
He said, I would buy the newspaper from St. Louis, I would buy the newspaper from Detroit, Cincinnati, Nashville, and one or two other places. And he said, I would triangulate the weather patterns that he read about in the newspapers. And that's how he came up with Lexington's first televised weather forecasts.
Representative Andy Barr, Falconer's great-nephew, spoke about his uncle and his passing.
We're sorry about Frank, but we also celebrate him going to heaven. He's I'm sure broadcasting from the gates right now.
Looking back on his childhood, Representative Barr remembers how holidays with his family were a little different.
My mom and dad would host the family for Thanksgiving, and I remembered it being odd that my great uncle would have to leave right after Thanksgiving, but he had a job to do. But we would watch him. We would watch him deliver the weather forecast after Thanksgiving dinner.
Dillon recalls the moment Frank Falconer Day was declared in Lexington.
About 10 years ago, we petitioned the mayor to proclaim Fearless Frank Falconer Day on his birthday. And they said yes, and they created the plaque. And I got to walk into his house carrying the plaque. And I mean, I was crying. I mean, I had tears in my eyes.
If given the chance to speak to Falconer one last time, Wright would say this.
Frank, I love you, man. I miss you. And you were the best ever.
Representative Barr says that he wants his uncle to be remembered as
a patriot, a true patriot. And also do yourself a favor. Try to go online and go on YouTube or look him up and look at some of his great weather forecasts and try to remember some of his humorous radio forecasts as well. He will always be known as Fearless Frank.
Falconer was also a World War II veteran and accomplished radio broadcaster. He retired in 2001. Our hearts go out to Falconer's family and friends. For now, Sydney St. Clair, ABC 36, on your side.